Yo, Internet, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of the Jongravesshow. Today I'm talking to everybody about EA and Battlefront 2. And it's funny to me how that before, my favorite game to come out of EA was Def Jam Fight for New York. It has been a long while since I've sat down and played that game. And it has been a long while since I even showered EA with some form of respect, because looking back, or at least in recent years, looking back like at the first Battlefront game, I'm not a massive multiplayer kind of game. I mean, I'm more of a co-op gamer, but still, when I do look at that game, everything about it just screams greed and basically taking every single wrong step to keep people invested in your product and actually sell things to people. Now, what does that mean necessarily? I have watched EA come from become a shift from that guy that you're not too sure about, but like he's a good guy at heart, to a straight up villain, or at least a greedy Captain Planet villain. This is basically where EA is now. And for the people out there who are looking at this, and what do I mean? EA has screwed up to the point to where that this gaming problem, it's not a gaming problem anymore. This is a worldwide, or at least like this is a serious news problem, where basically people in serious news outlets where they have to talk about this now. And it's scary, and it is to the point now to where that when you think about it, it's like, wait a second, did EA just systematically like destroy, or are they on course to destroying one form of mindset in the gaming industry? And it's actually scary enough to where that their practices may actually even be may actually be leading to like a worst case scenario in the future. So realistically, like thinking about it, like that's some scary stuff to even like comprehend for the gaming industry, like when DLC and everything else like became like grew to where it is today, you know. Jumping into the real part of this argument, okay, which is that what is the serious problem that EA themselves are not seeing as a fucking problem with their game? And that is that this entire game is no different from the first game that they put out. Didn't have a story, didn't say like it was a multiplayer only game, and the heroes were overpowered as ever. Now the new problem is that they promised everyone, all of their customers included, is that, hey guys, we're different. It's sort of like that girlfriend or boyfriend you have, where basically they say that, listen, I've changed. I heard what you were saying, okay? I now have a story mode. I now basically I'm all about skilled unlocks. I am not here to try and exploit you for money. However, when you actually play the game, that is exactly what the game is. Now I'm not gonna get into basically the stuff that just about everybody else knows about, basically the whole Darth Vader thing, and all of the heroes now basically taking like 40 hours, and that basically loot boxes run that entire game. Loot boxes run the entirety of Battlefront 2. And the sad thing is that EA can't see it. I mean, even though that they took out the loot boxes and everything, or at least made them not as cosmetic anymore, you know, such as what Overwatch has with you doing, which people, they don't mind Overwatch having, because everything in Overwatch is just is just a costume, or you want to look cool, or you want to get this weapon, or whatever. Like, it's stuff that doesn't affect the actual game. You know, I mean, like, unlike Battlefront 2, where basically you can buy levels, you can buy weapons, you can basically cut down like the time by getting coins so that you can get heroes faster. So that's a problem as it is already. You know, I mean, Warframe, this is not. And the saddest thing of all is that basically I don't think that anyone in the company will ever see that as a problem. I mean, I'm not the only person to ever say that upon the internet, but basically it is something in which that they do need to see, because it's not that difficult to understand that. I mean, also on top of that too, it's like I can actually see Warframe doing this. Well, Warframe doesn't do this. They don't force you to get the loot boxes to basically level up or do anything else. Loot boxes run so heavy in this game to where that when they took when they took them out, is that they even played even more in. So like, it made how ingrained the loot boxes were even more apparent, because even the collectibles and everything else went toward loot boxes, which is crazy. Like if I do say so myself. I mean, sure, we've all heard this argument plenty of times before, okay? Microtransactions, you don't have to buy them. You don't have to spend money up on loot boxes, because basically you can unlock everything just by playing through the game, same way, just like everybody else. However, here is the problem that people always forget. Just like how I have a problem with DLCs and everything else with games out there that really don't necessarily stack up to what people should have, you know, such as cosmetics and whatnot. I have a problem with those, because these are games that you were paying money for. Street Fighter 4 and of course, like, and everything else like that Capcom was doing before they put out Street Fighter 5, and I believe that they're still doing that in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Putting money into cosmetic armor, like me paying $5 for cosmetic armor, makes no fucking sense. You know, things that don't affect the game whatsoever. Now, shifting that over to Battlefront, or at least taking it back, is that Battlefront a problem with me essentially spending money for the entire for things that I should be unlocking is a problem, because this is a game that I spent full price on. That should not be in a paid game. Now if this was a dungeon fighter, or like a Warframe, or like Evolve now, if it was if it was a free-to-play game, or Paragon, if it was a free-to-play game, and I technically like just wanted to spend money upon the loot boxes or the microtransactions or whatever they have like in their cash shop, I understand that, because it's a free game. Like, why am I complaining about that? Like, that's nothing to complain about, unless like you are getting super overpowered weapons or massive like differences in stats. That's a problem. However, if it's a main game where I'm spending money on it, and it's a multiplayer game with no single player or like PvE experience, then you have a serious problem. You know, like, you can't put that in there and then basically expect everybody to be okay with it, especially since that Battlefront 2 is a game which technically lost the company about $3.1 billion, and a reprimanding from basically the parent company, you know, Disney. You know, so realistically speaking, it's like You can't do that stuff and then just expect it to be okay, because that's not good business. I don't think EA will necessarily learn its lesson anytime soon, because EA, at the end of the day, is basically the Canadian or the American version of Konami at this point, where basically they are doing things because they feel that it's gonna get them the biggest like money back, or at least like this is the best way to make money without necessarily putting in work. And truth be told, okay, like in the recent article of EA says people don't really enjoy linear games as much today, okay, a few of the CEOs or higher or basically the CFO Blake Jorgensen, he went on to actually state that pretty much like the reason why they shut down Visceral Games is because people really aren't into linear games anymore. Or at least that's what he feels. He feels that people are not into linear games anymore. Like they don't like the single player experience anymore. And he's saying that based off of numbers where basically, yeah, man, the fucking MMO games, more people are playing those, and pretty much like we need to put all of our focus of taking the team of 80 who are at the Visceral Games and putting them toward other games such as Star Wars and other things like that. When you think about that line puts into perfect perspective as to why Battlefront 2 is getting the heat that it is. And it is because basically they are going full Konami here, and they are thinking about the dollars versus necessarily the gameplay. And of course they can say that, well, now we want to make the greatest experience ever. And I'm like, of course, like every developer wants to do that, or they should want to do that. But even with that too, it's like, look, you don't understand that people loved Dead Space. People will always love Dead Space. Well, they won't love 3 as much as they love 1 and 2, but at the very least, it's still a continuation in the story, right? And with you shutting that down, you killed the story now. And you took those people and you moved them over to a game in which that you promised change, and you didn't give anybody anything to really clarify that there wouldn't even be a change. You basically just resold the exact same game with way more paywalls behind it, and you expected people to just be okay with it, which realistically speaking, like this is how the gaming industry works today. The gaming industry is so fucking forgiving. Like us as gamers, we are just too fucking forgiving to problems that happen in the game. Realistically, I like Fallout 4, but honestly, I can't defend that shit, especially when you go back and you play Fallout New Vegas. You cannot defend Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2 when you go back and you play the classic Battlefronts 1 and 2, because when you compare them, yeah, yeah, the stuff that is coming out today, it don't look that good. But of course, EA will try and throw up all their pretty words that turn into wax in everyone's ears, and for some people, like it'll reach their hearts, and they'll keep like feeding them money because there needs to be a Battlefront 3 eventually. So that is where I'm leaving this video off at. Please tell me what you think about this down there in the comment section. If you liked what I was talking about, please go ahead and share your thoughts down there in the comment section. Do you think that EA will ever learn their lesson? Do you think that they're just basically a ticking time bomb? Do you think that their actions are literally fucking up the gaming industry? Because most likely, I think they're kind of the worst at the moment, but it's hard to say. Please tell me what you think about this down there in the comment section, and please fill in anything that you think that I missed, and I'll go ahead and talk about that in the next video. I'm out.